Reader responses were a very helpful tool for me this semester. They allowed me to think about the deeper meanings of each short story and my reactions towards the story to develop a good analysis and understanding of the text. One story that I particularly liked reading and writing my reader response for was A Worn Path by Eudora Welty. The message behind is very inspiring, and I enjoyed touching upon how I felt as if I were part of the story and felt myself taking the journey with Phoenix. I enjoyed going back through the text to find lines that brought forth this powerful theme. As I was looking back into the story, I was able to develop an even better understanding of not only this story, but by using these same methods, I better understood all of the stories we read. Having multiple reading strategies while reading these short stories was very beneficial for me, because I've always had a hard time grasping the deeper meaning of stories. So finding some strategies that worked for me was very helpful. With these strategies, reading short stories this semester seemed more doable for me and something that I would get better at. One particular short story that these strategies helped me with was Hills Like White Elephants. This story was confusing for me to understand during my first time reading it, so to help with this, I read the short story again, but a few things still didn't make sense. Looking up words and a summary of the story was very helpful for me, and when I got the full understanding of the story. Also, I made a lot of notes throughout the text to touch upon during our discussion of the story, and hearing others' understandings of it put the story in a way that I could understand easily. I became very familiar with having assignments in classes be technologically based throughout high school since we used iPads a lot. I was used to using Google Docs before this class, and I believe that helped me a lot with using it during this class, because I already had some knowledge of how it is useful. Blogger, on the other hand, was one digital tool that I had not used before this class. I enjoyed using this website because it allowed me to reflect on my thoughts after each Free Read Tuesday in a more private and individual way. It was a nice change from the Google Docs we shared with others and the open discussions we frequently had. Blogger is a tool that I could use later in my life to blog about things such as my life, other books I read, certain interests I have. I enjoyed the use of many different digital tools throughout the semester. These were the two that I felt helped me experience literature the most. Throughout this class, I did a lot of critical reading, and that helped me a lot while reading the many short stories during this class. The critical reading I did helped me in my Western Civ class when we read primary sources and documents from all different time periods. I had to use these same critical reading skills from this class to get a sense of what the documents were talking about. Critical reading did not come easy to me at the beginning. I've never had the best critical reading skills, and it was hard for me to comprehend stories well. I never was very good at being able to pick apart a story and find the deeper meanings behind them when you read more closely. I also get easily distracted while reading, which sometimes made me miss important details from the story. After this class, I feel like I've become a better reader and have developed many strategies to help me read critically and have better comprehension skills. Free Read Tuesdays really opened my eyes to how great and beneficial reading can be. Reading The Girl on the Train made me realize that when a book holds your interest, grabs your attention, and makes you want to keep reading, then it can be a really eye-opening experience. This was especially a very interesting experience for me because I never have enjoyed reading and usually never did unless I was required to. There were few books before this one that I actually enjoyed reading, and a lot of the time I would start a book but never finish it because it lost my interest quickly. After reading The Girl on the Train, I came to a realization that mystery and suspense novels interest me the most, and this was my aha moment. It makes me want to read more like this in the future. My most memorable experience I'll remember when I look back at this class from my first semester freshman year will be that having Free Read Tuesdays was the time I realized reading can be interesting and is something that I will try to incorporate into my everyday life from here on.